Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War Campaign 9, Week 8, Day 7. So today, or I should say more so yesterday, if you didn't see, spoilers, we finally got the Hoard Mimic. I think it's over top of this team over here. Obviously, there's no real team, so we're not going to bother covering a team video for this thing, especially with how few people have it. However, yeah, this is unfortunately a pretty useless troop. We're talking about like a couple ways that they could have made it good. Like if it had the gold armor for 70% reduction there. If it was kind of like that one Shentang Dragon where it had like a like guaranteed for the gold, but a bunch of like 50% chances or something else for the rest of its abilities, or something similar. But it also, he literally has a final trait that a hero already has on many hero classes, which is just one of its 10 traits, so it's pretty useless in pretty much every parameter. However, it is like the rarest thing in this entire game, and we finally got it for 100% completion on achievements, as you can see right there. So today we're kind of just celebrating. Probably just going to be kind of a normal stream, but a little bit longer, but we will have a few codes, one of which we'll hand out as soon as we go over the weekly spoilers. With that being said, we have quite a few things going on this week. For one, patch almost guaranteed this Tuesday. But we also have a few other things, so let's start getting into them. 1 second. Let's go over to the official website first. To gemsofwar.com. Oh, I can't even type. Okay. The struggle of using 2 keyboards simultaneously. We'll eventually get it. There we go. So, if we go check over... Actually, I forgot the forum page. Why is the forum page broken on this browser? I do not understand. But anyways, we'll go under latest news, because this part's not broken, luckily. And the tech supports. So we got the tech support event. We have Leonis Empire for the Kingdom. Does Leonis Empire have anything good for weapons? I do not remember. Let me double check. What's Leonis Empire's arsenal? I believe it was all bad, last I recall. That's not what I wanted. I want the Kingdom, not the thing. But last I recall, Leonis Empire has absolutely 0 relevant weapons. Yes, it does have 0. However, one thing to consider is you actually need every single weapon in the entire game to get the next star, if I'm not mistaken. Because we are going to be able to get another star level here on Leonis Empire. And with it, you do need every weapon that isn't the one money weapon fully maxed. You need 12 of them. Oh, technically you don't for the level. Oh, yeah, you will, because we're getting another troop, duh. So yeah, we're getting another troop tomorrow. So yeah, you will actually need 12 fully upgraded Leonis Empire weapons. And there's currently 13 total. And the one that is money locked, I believe, is Merchant's Blade. It's been available a couple times in the past for free. However, I'm pretty sure it's a money locked weapon these days, so do be mindful of that. So you would need literally every other one upgraded. Luckily, everything here is pretty easy. There's no Doom weapon. There's not even any other Mythic weapon other than the hero class weapon, which every single kingdom has. So yeah, it shouldn't be that hard for the most part. Like a lot of the weapons here are easier to obtain. Though there are a lot of legendary ones, so that could start adding up pretty quickly, but still, nonetheless, it does require all but one to be fully maxed for the 26 star if you're going to go get it. Anyways, aside from that, as far as the troop itself, it ends up exploding 3 gems boosted by my gold, then gains a bunch of gold. Some people are comparing this to Marilith. However, this is going, or not Marilith, I mean Egg Thief. However, this is going to be way weaker than Egg Thief for a couple of reasons. We were actually messing with Egg Thief last night when we were messing with the Mimic. However, the biggest issue with this compared to Egg Thief, there's 2 of them. Or actually, there's 3. No, there's 2. No, yeah, never mind. He does have Stealthy. So there's 2 main issues. So the first is he has no summon. One of the main things that makes Egg Thief, like, literally unkillable, well, not literally, but very hard to kill, is that it's a stealthy unit that constantly keeps resummoning. And that alone is really good. We already see how strong that is with things like Life and Death on Orb Weaver. So it's a really strong combination. But the other thing that makes this guy quite a bit weaker is he's Explode. Destroying gems, of course, gives full value, whereas Explode in the current state of the game gives you half value. So whenever you have the option between one or the other, like exploding the entire board or destroying the entire board, you get twice as much mana from destroying it. So things like Egg Thief will get a lot more value, while Egg Thief will generally not have 64 magic, though it can in faction context. It's still doing enough more destroy that's worthwhile, because as long as you're getting like 40 something, you're probably getting more value from a destroy than you are from doing a full board explode, which is basically going to be what this guy does. The other issue compared to that is if you compare it to something like Leprechaun. Like Leprechaun's already going to do basically what he does initially while having in power. So there's not much of a need to really bring this guy out. He's not bad. It just, he's outclassed by basically every parameter. Leprechaun does it quicker if you're only looking for one. Egg Thief does everything that he does better. And there's other alternatives like Thrall, Merilith, and any number of similar options. So he's not bad, but he's just not going to get used just because other things are stronger, is basically the bottom line. Looks like we have this very annoying 3-round system again, where it's probably going to be... Wait, what is this? Round 1 contains equal battles between all those. Is just adding 1 each time? Oh, it's cycling through 3 different sets. I see. That's weird. What's the scoring? So, the scoring... Why did they have to make these so confusing each time? So we have coins, treasures, coin, 14, treasures, 10. Did they actually put it in correct order? Hey, have they actually been posting these in correct order now? They might have been. No, they haven't, because why is this one in the middle then? Oh, but the other one... No, none of them scale. Why can't you just put them in the correct order? No, that is correct order. Because the treasures are marked. Never mind. Yeah, it is correct order this time. Okay, maybe they have been recently. Though not always, because there was a glitch with it last week that made one of them very weird. But anyways, yeah, it is actually just order here, which seems like it's just going to be rarity order, so that's nice. It does seem to be that you just take rarity order and you'll be fine. So they made it very straightforward this week, even though it's a little bit convoluted with the cycling thing. But yeah, just take rarity order, I'm pretty sure. Unless I'm missing something here, it's just rarity order. Perfect. That's not that confusing then for once. Anyways, so other things that we have going on this week, most notably Tuesday. We're pretty much guaranteed getting a patch on Tuesday. And the main reason for that is what we have going on this Friday. Gosh, type. But what we have going on this Friday. So let me go over what we have going on this Friday first. So this Friday we have a faction event for... Oh wait, hold up. Never mind, that's Tuesday. I was gonna say, hold up. wrong one. This Friday we have a faction event for All-Seeing Eye. However, you may notice this troop does not exist yet. But that is because every single kingdom, or every single faction I should say, as of next patch will start to get more faction troops. So this is the first time ever, since factions have existed, that factions are going to be getting additional troops. Currently starting with All-Seeing Eye, which is the first faction ever added to the game. I'm not sure if it's going to go into the same order, though if it is, that means Hall of Guardians is the next one after this, and then Crypt and so on and so forth through every single faction in the entire game. However, we do have an All-Seeing Eye as the first one, which makes sense. And yeah, this is going to slowly start bringing in new troops to factions. Of course, as it currently stands, every faction has exactly 4 troops. Actually, that's not a good way of showing it, but if we click over to here, and we click over to any of the faction tabs, like let's say All-Seeing Eye, which is actually the one for this weekend, you see that there's 4 here, and if you click on any of them, it's going to be 4 for any of the factions. Why can I not find another faction? Just give me any. There it is, Crypt. So if you click on like Crypt, there's only 4. But yeah, every faction currently has 4, but that will not be the case starting next patch. We are going to slowly start getting additional faction troops rolling out. You'll probably be able to get them through gems through the event, or you could just throw a billion Chaos Shards. So if you have a big stack of Chaos Shards, you can just simply throw for them, or you can get them through some gems through the event, either or. Regardless, yeah, we're going to start getting more troops for every single thing. I'm not sure the full list of things that will be changing, however, next patch is Tuesday, is very focused on factions. Like pretty much every single thing related to it will be related to either faction or maybe some small quality of life here and there. But a good majority of it is all faction reworks. Hopefully for the better, we'll find out this Tuesday night when we do our stream. Because that's probably the first thing we'll be going over. Because they generally do the update pretty much exactly the time when we start our stream, so it's pretty convenient. But anyways, yes, that's like the biggest thing happening next week, is the patch on Tuesday, and then the faction event for Friday. That is basically the first one bringing in this new mechanic, as well as the first time we fully get to experience all the changes to factions, whatever they may be. Because that's going to be the first like full-blown weekend event where we could do factions, but we'll still be able to experience some with like the 3 dailies things and all that prior. Anyways, aside from that, of course we have the campaign, board event. Oh yeah, we will be showing the Mythic tomorrow, by the way. We do get access to this Mythic. If you have the bigger pass, you get it tomorrow. Otherwise, it's one Monday from tomorrow. But we will be able to go show off the Spark Grind or Sparkinator. Overall, he looks pretty underwhelming. I already went over like some things that he could do to be better. The main, most noteworthy thing is there's 2 of them. He needs armor boost ratio. Well, he also needs a final trait that's not useless, but he needs armor boost ratio. But he also needs his explode or whatever his board control to be targetable. The fact that it's random is very unfortunate because you don't get to control if the bomb gems explode or not. If you had full control over it, that'd be really, really, really good. Like he would actually be like semi-viable because you could use them as like an anti-gem spawner kind of option. However, I don't know. He's just not really going to be that viable. Oh, I didn't get it. Can gem spawns actually overwrite bomb gems? I've never actually paid attention to that. They might not actually block it like block gems do. I'm actually not sure on that regard, actually, now that I think about it. However, bomb gems, as they've been pretty much all season, is a pretty underwhelming effect. This is a pretty underwhelming Mythic, though. We'll still mess around with him and see what overall he can end up doing. But anyways, let's keep going down the list. So this Tuesday, one thing to note about this Tuesday is we're getting an update to factions. So it is a good idea to not do City of Thieves quite yet. Or maybe, I don't know. City of Thieves is a weird one because City of Thieves is the best location in the entire game to farm, to such a degree that throwing gems at it just to farm it could be viable. However, one thing you have to keep in mind is that we're likely getting a buff to the overall loot of factions, particularly to those chests that you would end up even farming for in the first place. So there is a chance that you might want to wait until after the patch on Tuesday before you do the faction. This will only leave you with several hours to do it, or even less so depending on your time zone, because I know for me it goes like straight through the night. However, you might want to deliberately not do your faction battles until the patch hits on Tuesday, because you'll be able to synergize the City of Thieves, which is the best faction to farm in the entire game, combined with a patch that will be overall buffing factions. So it's basically going to be like a super double buff in that it's the best faction to be grinding, as well as a buff to just factions in general that should hopefully make loot better overall. So yeah, one thing to consider for the faction. So we'll naturally be doing that because, of course, all of our streams normally occur after that point. However, worth considering if you normally play earlier in the game, in the day, that you might want to wait and hold off if you also play later in the day in order to do your factions after the patch rather than before the patch, because you might be able to get more loot from it. Anyways, on Wednesday, we're going to be getting a pet. Is this a new one? It is! Hey, you remember that little die thing? This has been in the files for like 5 years now. They're finally adding it to the game. It looks like it's a team bonus for what? Oh, it's just a kingdom team bonus? Wait. I'm even more confused now. Didn't Leonis already have a team bonus, or does it not? I could have sworn they already had one. Apparently not. But yeah, this thing has been in the files for like forever and a half, and they've never bothered to add it. And now they're finally adding it, so that's cool. But yeah, it's just going to be, it looks like it's Leonis Empire bonus there then. Which, I could have sworn we already had a pet for that. Oh no, let me go double check. Do we? I could have sworn we already had a pet for Leonis bonus. Leonis bonus. The rhyming. What do we need here? Where's Leonis Empire? Which one of these would even be it? No bonus. Yeah, Leonis Empire. That's so weird. Let me double check the pet menu. Wait, is it actually? Now I'm confused. I'm looking for pet spoiler. Kingdom team bonus. That's weird. Do we have this yet? A double for the same kingdom? That's actually kind of strong. Because the better bonus for any of the bonuses is the kingdom bonus. And if we're going to start doubling up on kingdoms, there's going to be some kingdoms that are going to become very broken once they start having double bonus. Like, it's not going to be like a huge amount of extra stats, but ones that are already good, like let's say elementals, for example, that already have a double elemental pet. If you do that in like a good kingdom that already is elemental, and then do that with the other elemental bonus and have a double pet, that's going to be a lot of extra stats. Obviously not like huge substantial stats are getting pretty high in the game, so it makes it has quite a bit of a diminishing return as time goes on. However, it's still interesting because I'm pretty sure this is the first one that has a double kingdom one. We have double pet ones, like elemental and a few others. I think mechs maybe already have double, but no kingdom I don't believe has one yet, so that's kind of interesting. Anyways, so that's the thing apparently. Always nice to see new pets, though kind of weird that they're doubling on it, but I guess they're kind of getting to the point where they have to, unless they're just going to keep doing cosmetic ones. Anyways, aside from that, what else do we have going on? So this Thursday, or sorry, this Wednesday we already went over the pet. Thursday we have the class events for the Leonis Empire class, which is the War Priest. And then faction Friday, as I mentioned, which is a pretty noteworthy one, given that is the first one that will be bringing in the new mechanic of getting new troops, as well as whatever changes being brought to factions we'll be able to fully realize. So we'll see exactly what happens with that. Also, you might get a lot more loot if you're going through the entire thing. Do keep in mind, it might not be worthwhile to go through the entire thing, unless you haven't done it already. However, you could potentially do it for the extra loot, depending on how enticing the new system actually is. We'll have to find out and see. Because I believe they are buffing what you get in chests. Like, what you get from chests, specifically, as you're doing factions, is specifically getting buffed as of next patch, among many other things, obviously. But they are reworking how that drop table works for either the good or worse. We'll have to see exactly what they change. I feel like you'll get slightly less chaos shards, but you might get a mix of other stuff. So you might get like less gold, less souls. Like everything that's currently in there, you're probably going to get less of, particularly legendary and mythic ingots, which they just give out like way too many of. However, it'll probably be replaced with things that are actually like good that aren't those. So that's the thing. Anyways, hello everyone. It's been like 15 minutes. That was like all intro, and I haven't said hello to anyone. Hope all of you have been having a wonderful weekend. We sure have. But hello Tyrion. Hello Henry. Hello Andrew. Hello Roman. Hello Draco. Hello Simpleman. And thank you for the congrats. Actually, thank everyone for the congrats. Yeah, we finally got the Horde Mimic. Hello Mister. Also, I'll go hand out a code as soon as I finish the hellos. The first of 3. Hello Ricardo. Hello Mister. Hello Bill. Hello Nightmare. Hello Cookie. Hello NASA. Hello Bill. Hello Peter. Hello Jonian. Hello Barbara. Hello Logic Slayer. Hello Gimli. Hello Lester and Eliza. Hello Siberian. Hello Ricardo. Hello Henry. Hello Bill. Oh, so I just realized Isabel's not here. Hello Isabel. No. I'm always so used to saying hello. Maybe she's sick. Hopefully she didn't get sick. She might just be busy. Hello Sushi Ninja. Hello Michael. Hello Eric. Hello Jamie. And hello everyone else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. When did you get it? We got it last night. We got it on last night's stream. I think it was somewhat towards the end, though we also kind of kept messing around with it, so I think it might have been like the midpoint or slightly past the midpoint. But yeah, we got it last night. It was pretty hype. But it's finally over, the hunt. However, that's not going to stop us from continuing to hunt. Anyways, I believe we're done with every side mode. So I think the main thing we really do today is just, yeah, kind of do a little bit of Mimic grind. But first, let me go hand out a code. I did say we'd hand out 3 today as well. I handed out 3 last night when we actually got it, because I said on the day that we ended up getting it, we would do it. Well, we're also kind of celebrating it today, so figured we hand out, go a little bit longer for today. We're not doing like the super ultra grind like we initially had planned because, well, we already got it. But we're still doing a little bit of a longer stream today. I mean, not too much longer, but a little bit longer than normal, if nothing else. And as NASA mentioned, definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps a lot and is greatly appreciated. But there you guys go. Enjoy the code. And of course, it gives the same word as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, 2,500 gold. Anyways, so yeah, we're probably just going to mostly be messing with the Mimic grinds that got us the new troop. And go from there. Because this is actually still a really good week to be doing this kingdom. I'm not sure why, but Wolf Knight is actually not here right now. I'm not sure exactly why that is. However, it makes this location really easy because there's actually no immune to burning when Wolf Knight happens to not be in the rotation to actually appear here. There's still that one really annoying freeze troop that over time has been becoming increasingly more annoying the more times we keep entering this area. However, overall, it hasn't been that bad. Could have been worse. Are they going to make a city irrelevant? No. Oh, well, then again, if you're farming level 20 city, it might not be viable to farm level 20 city anymore. However, due to how City of Thieves is set up, I am pretty sure it'll always be the best kingdom to farm. It's just I'm pretty sure the level 20 method will no longer be possible next patch. I would sure hope so. Like, that's been an issue even, like, in beta, and it was brought to their attention, and to this day, they still have done nothing to it. So I'd assume the faction patch would address it, because that'd be kind of sad if they doesn't. But yes, it is like perpetually always been the most viable, at least since City of Thieves have existed, to run level 20 City of Thieves for forever. However, that probably changes tomorrow, not in the sense that City of Thieves is no longer going to be the best location, it still is going to be the best location. However, the difference is doing it at level 20 will likely not be the best location anymore. Though still farming in City of Thieves isn't going to change. Like, it's still going to be the best faction by far, unless they make some kind of other tweak. And that's mostly because of how the treasure room setup is for that location. Not only is its multiplier among one of the best in the entire game, but it has like 1 billion treasure rooms. And every single room is a single room away from the starting room. So you get a lot of value just based on where you're capable of going. Because after you do the first room, you can reach literally every other room other than the boss room from the starting room. Which is the only faction in the entire game that can do that. Which that alone is already broken, even if it wasn't for the room values that were already really good and the treasure rooms that are already really good. But it's never going to not be the best faction. It's just doing it at level 20 is probably no longer viable. I'm not sure how many people still keep their faction at level 20, but that probably won't be a thing anymore after Tuesday's patch. So just a heads up if any of you are still farming at level 20. I feel like very few people do. There's probably still some amount of people that do. Like the daily City of Thieves at level 20 grind. Because it doesn't take that long to do at level 20. But level 500 should be viable as of next patch. Like doing it at max difficulty faction. Like that should very much be doable as of next patch on Tuesday. Level 20? This guy, nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's still like a handful of people that do. Just be mindful that you probably won't be able to anymore as of Tuesday. Or not that you wouldn't be able to, but like the loot that you would get comparatively probably wouldn't be worth it anymore, I would assume. I sure hope so anyways. That they would finally fix it after multiple years. In the roadmap announcement, the dev said adding extra troops and maps to existing factions. Yes. Oh, new maps? I think they might mean new rooms when they say maps. Though new maps would imply a different setup for the faction, which would be interesting. However, they have added new rooms before. This is actually a pretty common occurrence, but they haven't done it recently. Like, it's been like 2 years. Like, I think it's been the entire pandemic since they've added more maps to factions. But that actually used to be a pretty common occurrence. Like, every year, there was, like, more. But then the entire pandemic, they kind of stopped adding more. And now they're just kind of doing one patch where they kind of make up for lost time. Where they're probably going to add a bunch more. Because that used to happen, I think it's happened like 3 times now. 3 or 4, I think it's 3. Where they have updated what kind of rooms can rotate within a faction. And that's probably what they're doing again, which is what I assume by new maps. I assume that's what they mean. Unless they literally mean like completely new layouts for factions, which would be kind of interesting if you had like multiple different layouts to choose from rather than the same one every time, or if it like rotated through them randomly, so it's not the same thing every single time. That actually would be kind of interesting. But normally what that meant in the past is they're specifically adding more rooms, like what you can actually end up facing in a specific battle. I don't know, we'll find out on Tuesday. We shall find out. Or should be. I'd be very doubtful if we don't get it on Tuesday. Like, there's an exceedingly high chance. Mostly because the file's already shown we're getting an event with a troop that doesn't currently exist on Friday. Which they kind of need the patch to do. Like, assuming that event still happens this Friday, they quite literally need the patch to happen. Otherwise, the event can't happen. Because the event requires the patch. Hey, they're just gonna break how good City of Thieves layout is. True. Though hopefully they make All-Seeing Eye a good layout if they are actually doing like legit like map reworks. Because City of Thieves, or not City of Thieves, but All-Seeing Eye is notorious for being the absolute worst faction in the entire game. In the sense that it has one whole less room than every other faction. Because it was made back in the time where there was going to be 3 different number of rooms for factions. But then they decided just to make it uniform, so every single faction has the same amount of rooms. However, there's one faction that does not have the same amount of rooms, and that is All-Seeing Eye. It is the only faction with 1 less room than every other faction in the entire game. Which, that one could definitely use a layout change. And if it actually is getting one, we'll probably see it this Friday. When it gets the new, when it gets an event. Because that'd be actually kind of interesting if they roll out new maps for factions by specifically having events for them. So it'll make factions that were once kind of bad, give them good layouts. And All-Seeing Eye is the most notorious one for needing it. It's kind of interesting that's the very first one, so we'll have to see what happens on Friday then. Because if there is any map or any delve that needs a rework for that regard, is definitely All-Seeing Eye. Because due to it being the very first one, it is the absolute worst value faction in the entire game by far. Not only does it have 0 treasure rooms, but of course, as I mentioned, it has 1 whole less room total. Which no other faction is like that. So hello, Clip-Bomb. Welcome, welcome. Though I do believe it has some RNG treasure rooms that can occur as of one of those patches that added more rooms, but none of them are guaranteed. But yeah, if anyone has any other questions or anything you want me to go over, do let me know. This will mostly just be us probably farming the last little bit of Explore 12, because realistically, after today, we won't be doing too much more Explore 12. Like, obviously, we're still going to be farming it on a weekly basis. But, you know, like, the amount that we necessarily farm it may decrease for 2 reasons. One is we have the Hoard Mimic. So the main thing that we're hunting for, we have now. But the other reason is I wanted to get the Hoard Mimic before the patch, because we might start doing daily factions now, starting on Tuesday. If they actually, like, legitimately buff factions enough, we might start doing, like, the 15 to 30 minutes that it takes to do daily factions. Like, if it's actually worthwhile. Because currently it's not worthwhile. Like, if you have every faction max, there's almost no point in doing factions daily in the current state of the game. Like, you still could, but it's not really that worthwhile. Like, if you already have every hero class maxed, every faction maxed, the value in doing so is very low in the current state of the game. But if they actually buff it enough where it's worthwhile, like they have some gems in there, some other useful resources, who knows, maybe some tokens here and there scattered around or whatever else they might do. Who knows, deeds? What if they added, like, a small chance for deeds? But, like, if they did stuff like that, like, then it'll be worthwhile. We'll have to wait and see. Because that might start taking up a lot, or not a lot, but, you know, like, that might start being a thing we do every day. Added into the streams. Is getting our 3 daily factions in there, which is a daily that has existed for quite... Hey, Mimic! Also, right over to the right is our official number that we got to when we finally got our first Mimic. Should I start a new timer? What do you guys think? But then again, we're probably not going to be tracking it much as of Tuesday. Actually, I might even get rid of it soon. But I don't know. Should we do it separately or just add them? I'm just going to add it. I think I'm just going to add it to our total. But we officially got the Mimic. Oh no, I kind of want to keep this number so we always know this is the one we got it at the... Oh no, I might just stop tracking it. Oh no. Maybe if can I actually duplicate this? I want to duplicate this and make another Mimic counter. Is there a way to do it? Copy. Paste. Paste, duplicate. Aha, I can duplicate it. Where'd it go though? There it is. Mimic counter number 2. I am forever going to keep this one. Just so we know. The official number we got it at. And then I'm going to get rid of that one. There we go. Actually, I could do it the other way around. Why don't I just do that? And that will be that. There we go. I fixed it. So now we have a copy of it, so we will always know. Oh wait, I shouldn't update the number yet though. I forgot. We don't know if this is a 5 times yet. Wouldn't that be funny if we got another one today? Also, I'll go hand out another code. We found our first Mimic. I'll go hand out a code for that. And then we'll hand out one more a little bit later this stream. For the 3 codes for the Mimic celebration. Wouldn't that be really funny if we get another one today, though? That'd be absolutely insane if it actually happens. You know it might actually happen, though. Like, we'll go and get none for, like, so long, like we have been. But then we're just gonna get a billion all at once. We're just, like, so good on 5 times rate right now, though. Like, I'd be very surprised. Like, we should only realistically have, like, 8 5 times right now, but we found 11. Okay, good. It's just a normal one. I was gonna say, we're not gonna get that lucky. But there we go. Yeah, just a normal 2 times. Pretty standard, underwhelming 2 times. That makes sense. Our luck's been a little bit too good on it lately. Our luck just in general this week has been pretty off the charts. Love it. Anyways, let me go give you guys another code. And we'll hand out one more a little bit later this stream. Let me go get you guys the code right over here. Into the code section you go. And we'll have one more in a little bit. Also, I gotta be careful. We only have like 1 more weeks left of codes. There we go. 4 times curse incoming. Could you imagine getting 4 times curse gnomes for the shard thing? That would be absolutely insane as well. The most I've ever seen in one battle was 2, and that was during a Nomopalooza, during a vault event, obviously. Well, actually, it has to be. Like, it's literally impossible to not get it in a Nomopalooza because the max amount of gnomes you could find otherwise is 1. So you actually would specifically have to be doing a Nomopalooza, though ideally during a vault event because actually, would it technically matter if it was a vault event? Like, for vault key chance it does. But theoretically, well, I wouldn't advise doing it because you get so much more loot during a vault event. But theoretically, from a cursed runes perspective, you would actually get the same amount of cursed runes during a vault event as not during the vault event. Because vault keys do not drop, or do not get in the way of its drop table. Though I would not advise doing it, though, because you might as well just get the extra vault keys when you're doing the event. So you should pretty much always save them for vault event weekends. Which is, next one's June 10th, by the way. in 2 weekends from now. Which is that 3 weekends from now? That's actually 3 weekends from now. I forgot, this is a 31-day month. Yep, no problem for the code, everyone. We'll have another one in a little bit. I still can't believe we finally got it, though. I'm gonna miss doing Explore as much, but we might be replacing it with factions, so it'll fill the void of farming. If nothing else, factions have higher variety. Though if we're gonna be doing the daily system, unless they change it up, we're almost always gonna be doing City of Thieves. Unless there's some kind of drastic change that I'm not aware of, which there probably are several. But unless there's some kind of super drastic change, there's almost no circumstance where City of Thieves is not going to be the best one. So we're probably always going to be farming there. Like similarly to Explore, like theoretically you could be doing any Explore. There's 35 of them in the game. But factions are going to be kind of similar in that you're just going to farm the best one. And for factions that is currently City of Thieves. And for Explore, that can vary depending on what your goal is. But right now we're doing Sword's Edge, of course. Let's see, we'll take the purple there. What animal did we make a blood sacrifice of in order to get the mimic? Oh no, probably a dragon. We probably sacrificed a dragon for it, I would assume. Yeah, I know, it's so weird when Isabel isn't here. Like, she's here, like, so consistently for every stream. I'm actually, like, concerned anytime I don't see her in stream. Because I'm like, wait, what happened to her? I'm pretty sure she's just busy with something or something. But it's, like, so uncommon for her not to be in a stream. I'm actually, like, legitimately worried. Like, anytime I don't see her. Like, oh no, what happened? Let's see. Yeah, she's so consistently in every stream. Not sure how she does it. She's probably just busy tonight. Obviously, she has to be at some point. Let's see. So surprised she makes as many streams as she does. Because she's normally here for every midday stream as well. Maybe not for the entirety of it, but for some portion of it. Oh, she's a little under the weather. Okay, that makes sense. Hope she gets better soon. I need to message her later then. Everyone's getting sick recently. Luckily, I finally got fully better. I still have a little bit of that sniffle here and there, but it's mostly just the pollen and everything. Like, normally when it hits initially, it hits really hard, but then you kind of get used to it, but you know, you're still kind of like allergic to it. Like, it's still there, but it doesn't have as much of an effect on you. It's normally just when the seasons change, it has that big effect, which is why I was so bad earlier. Have I heard about the monkeypox thing? No. What's going on with the monkeypox? A new disease? Isn't that an old disease? Isn't that one that already existed? Actually, isn't that one of those that's almost like already cured? So I would assume the cases are just showing up again. Yeah, I've been following, like, no news lately. It's actually kind of nice. I've never in my adult life followed so little news in my entire life. And it makes things so much more relaxing. Because you never hear, like, all the horrible things going on every single day in the world. Because the news is always, like, so negative. Like, there's so much more negative news than positive news. We'll even take her. I'll take that over. Oh, so we'll take that over. Grab our explosion. I need purple. Can we get purple off of Sky? We did not. Please, I want any purple. I'm about to just grab this purple even though we already have our mana, just because I'm going to need it as follow-up. Might seem like a waste given that we're getting so little mana, but we're going to need it for right now. Or not, we're not. Never mind. Okay, it was a waste. If nothing else, to set up the middle area so we could get that skull. But at this point, I think we'll go until we find one final last Mimic chest and then hand out a code for that. Because that will probably take us another hour. It could be shorter. But I think that's going to be our goal. Next chest is the very last Mimic chest for a while. While I still will be doing Explore here and there. The amount that we're going to be doing of it is definitely going to be reduced as of going forward. Like, the amount we have been grinding it is definitely not the amount we're going to be grinding it going into the next forever. Like, we're still going to be doing it, obviously. It's not like we're never going to touch Explore again. We're still going to farm it at least a few hours every week, if nothing else. But the rate at which we farm it is definitely going to be reduced after today. Mostly because some of our time daily is going to be going to the factions now, possibly. A daily that I normally don't do that should become pretty viable as of next patch. We'll just have to see exactly how it pans out. Nice, got a skull off a Sky. Gotta try for them or you're never gonna get them. Hey, that reminds me, don't we have Guild War next week? I forgot to mention that. When I was mentioning all the billion things we have going on. Unless they changed it, we actually have Guild War next week. Which is one of the reasons I thought the patch was maybe potentially gonna be this week. Because they generally try to not make it during Guild War weeks, but yeah, it's gonna be a Guild War week. Also, if you haven't registered your guild, great time to do so. Also, if you're looking for a guild, great time to try finding one. Because there's probably a lot of people recruiting right now in Global. Like, if I open up Global 1, I am pretty sure I will see, like, 5 within, like, 10 seconds. Let's see. Oh, none? None? No one? Maybe Global 2 is where everyone's recruiting right now, gosh. No one in Global 1 recruiting? There we go. I moved over to Global 2. Well, check Global 2 then. Maybe Global 1 gets spammed with so much generic chat that people use Global 2 instead to communicate it more so now. But yeah, check Global 2. Probably because of all the like small chat that happens in Global 1. Some people choose just to put in 2 because it's more visible. Oh yeah, here's the code we handed out earlier. We'll have one more a little bit later to stream. But yeah, we have Guild War register now. 6 hours and 19 minutes from now. See, I always hate that it shows text to like register, yet the guild's already registered. But anyways. Wait, I wonder if we moved up. I actually don't know what ranking we ended up ending on in the previous thing. I'm pretty sure we're moving up. I don't think we made first place though. Also, hello Jinky. Welcome, welcome. People are nicer in 2. What, are people in Global Chat 1 getting toxic lately? That's not good. I haven't really been checking Global Chat much recently. I generally don't like socializing with people ever. So I tend to avoid it. I think the only times I'm ever in Global 1 is if I'm asking a question real quick that's not on the forum, just to kind of see. Normally it's double checking to see if a Mythic is in a drop table for covering the video like right at the time. Normally you can visibly see it, but I always like asking just in case. Historically, there's been more political talk in Explore 1. Oh no, Explore 1 has like the most sporadic conversations ever sometimes. Like the topic range is so absurdly wide. Hey, we got an Anu. I think the funniest global as well was the global chat on the Switch version when it first came out. Because so few games on the Switch in any capacity have like a chat system in it. whereas that one did, like a global chat system. So a lot of people were just like using it as like a chat system for the Switch because there isn't like a proper messaging system on the Switch. So some people were literally using Gems of War as a messaging system, which was kind of funny. Because very few Switch games have a equivalence of such. At least to that of a degree of what Gems of War has. If Gems of War doesn't have in-game friending or anything like that, which is kind of unfortunate. Which is a feature they were going to add, but then never did. It's interesting because they added it for Puzzle Quest 3. You can't message directly, but you can still add people. Let's see when they're on, like a few other things like that. But it was a feature that was originally going to be in Gems of War. There's even like a soon TM icon in the game for it. That was there for like 2 years, and then it was eventually removed because, you know, it was never added, obviously. Yeah, they never did add such a thing. Did I get the Mimic? Yes, we finally got it. We got it last night. We finally got it. And this is kind of like our last little hurrah explore stream. Because, yeah, going forward, we won't be doing it too much more. We still will be doing it, obviously, because we need tokens. But our main incentive for doing so is now done. Not to mention next patch will probably give us a new incentive for something else, which is farm Underworld over and over again. Yeah, we did it last night if you want to catch it or want to see it. Anyone who didn't see it. I can't remember the exact timestamp, but it was some point last night. I think it was like somewhat past the midpoint. Because the later part of the stream we were going over teams. Also, I'm not going to be covering a team video for it. Not only do almost no one has it, but there's also literally no viable teams for it. Though I did mess around with teams on the stream itself. The Mythic on Monday we'll be covering a team video for. They'll probably cover a little bit later in the week. I normally wait until a little bit closer to when the normal pass people get it. Because it doesn't make much sense to cover it a whole week early if most people aren't getting it until like a week later. So I normally cover it like a day or two before the before most people get it. I'll still be going over it Monday night tomorrow though. But as far as like the actual team video, we normally cover closer to the actual date when the standard pass gets it. Because I know based on our polling in the past, actually we could redo that. Actually, I'm kind of curious because we're actually near the end of the season. Let me go pull that right now. I'm actually curious. We did it in the past, but let's go get current data. Do you buy the campaign pass for Gems of War? Or do you normally? Do you normally buy? For Gems of War. Let's see. Yes. The standard pass. Wait, actually, is it called standard pass? I can't put number values either because every currency is different. Even though most people watch us probably use USD, but not everyone does. Probably only a little more than half. What's that actually called? Does it have a proper name? It probably has a proper name. Because I don't think it's called standard pass. It's called Elite Pass. An Elite Pass Plus. Okay. Yeah, it's Elite Pass and Elite Pass Plus. Yes. The Elite Pass. Yes. The bigger Elite Pass Plus, or whatever it's called. I'm pretty sure it's called Elite Pass Plus. No. Let's see. Yes, but only if the Mythic is good. And no, never. There we go. Let's go for those options. Make sure to read all the yeses. They're all slightly different. I think that makes sense. I think that's like most of the main categories. At least within 4 options anyways. Because I feel like the one that's most common is the Elite Pass. Like just getting the standard Elite Pass every time. Which in USD is $10 for 10 weeks. Which literally comes out to $1 per week, which isn't that bad. There actually is a troop with a 100% Devour rate that isn't Iron Gut. It is the Great Maul. The only issue with it is it can only be cast once. But, yeah, the Great Maul is 100% Devour. But it's only usable once. So technically there's another option. Though compared to Iron Gut, it's better just to use Iron Gut. Like, it's basically just weaker Iron Gut. It does have extra turn potential follow-up while also getting mana accumulation. But there's almost no situation where using it is better than Iron Gut. Yeah, you don't really count Great Maul. Yeah, Great Maul's a bit of a weird one. It would be cool if we had another consistent Devourer, though, that isn't Iron Gut. There's some that can devour your own team 100% of the time, like Vashtagon and Black Beast. But that's not quite the same either. He's obviously devouring your own allies. Well, technically 100% Devour rate is not exactly the same premise. But it is still useful nonetheless. Which is kind of funny because devouring an enemy is one of the strongest mechanics in the game. But devouring your allies, like the troops that do that, most notably Black Beast, like it's actually pretty good. Like it would seem weird that something that is so strong to do it to an enemy would actually not be that bad to also do to your own team. But it kind of is because you're still maintaining the stats. He has the skull follow-up, so you're normally getting a poke kill. He has the full heal, so he just keeps getting like tankier and tankier. I guess this thing's going for it. Like normally he's just gonna die to like Death Mark or something. Yeah, it feels so weird not having Isabel here. Hopefully she gets well soon. We'll need to go send get well cards to Isabel. Or at least get well messages when she gets back. Oh, actually she'll be well by then, but you know what I mean. Let's see, we'll throw that down. Oh, she's just sick right now. Kind of like how we got sick the other week. Pretty sure she's similar right now. Maybe not with the exact same thing, but you know. Yeah, Vashtagon can only devour your allies if the ally is not barriered, nor if it is blessed. Because it also can't do it if it's blessed. Because it doesn't have Dispel like Black Beast does. Black Beast has an invisible Dispel attached to its ability. But I think the main goal of the stream now is find one more Mimic. And that will be our final Mimic. That would also bring us to 83 Mimics. At which point 81 was when we found the Hoard Mimic. Who knows, maybe 83 we'll also find the Hoard Mimic. Could you imagine? There's like almost no way it happens, though it would be really funny if it did. Is next patch, will they make delves more than 3 times a day? We don't currently know. If they did, I'm pretty sure it would cost you gems or something. But I'm pretty sure they're still going to stick with 3 per day. Though I'm not certain exactly how that's going to change, if it's going to change at all. I'll find out on Tuesday. It was Isabel sacrificed to the RNG gods. Thank you, Lucian. I think we are. It's mostly because we've been doing it for the longest amount of time. Most Gems of War creators like come and go. But we've been doing it since like forever. So we're kind of like the first. Kind of. Because when we ended up making our channel, there's pretty much no one really covering it, for the most part. And people have over the years. But I think the longest running channels that isn't our own is closer to like 4 years. Whereas we've been going for 6. We just did the 6-year anniversary the other week. So we have been around the longest. We haven't been covering as many guys lately, though. I still have a lot of tier lists I want to cover this year. That I have gotten around to. Pretty much none of them. But definitely need to. Wait, did Pac-Man turn 42 today? Nice. Actually, that's a game I haven't played for a while that I actually enjoyed a lot. That Pac-Man Battle Royale game that Nintendo ended up releasing for free. It was actually so good I even bought the money pack for it. Which is a little pricey. But given how many quarters you would put into a Pac-Man machine, it technically saved me money. If you consider it in that regard. Because I'm pretty sure I have spent, as a kid, Like multiple thousands on quarter arcade machines. Like literal thousands. Like I've had a Nintendo Switch for a couple years now, and I'm pretty sure I've spent less on everything related to Nintendo Switch, even having 2 Switches because I got the OLED as well. Like I'm pretty sure I've spent less on everything Nintendo Switch related than the amount of quarters I have ever put into arcade machines. Because that starts to get up pretty quick. Yeah, you don't really get to experience that much these days. I found it kind of funny too, because when I had a friend over a couple years ago, I was kind of surprised when he said he was never in an arcade before, because like I was in like so many arcades as a kid, so like I can't really fathom the idea of like never being in an arcade. That and like not knowing how to swim. Like those are 2 things I've done so much as a kid that like my brain can't process not having done it. Like not being able to swim and not knowing, or never being in an arcade. Like those 2 things, they're just like so commonplace when I was a kid that oh gosh, we're almost gonna lose this battle. That I don't know, they're just like so like natural. Like things I just kind of expect are things, but then it's like, oh, people haven't actually experienced it. Yeah, the best arcade I ever been to actually died in well, it actually died twice. First, Hurricane Sandy took out half of it, the better half, and then a fire took out the rest, and now it's being built into like some kind of condo, kind of resort kind of thing, which is unfortunate, because it was like one of the best arcades ever. It was at the Jersey Shore, at that little place over there. But yeah, Hurricane Sandy did a great deal of damage to it. It's called the Carousel, and then the rest was killed off by a fire. Also, gosh, that area got hit by like a hurricane and 3 fires. It is such an unlucky area. Like, most people just gave up even trying to rebuild. Though I'm glad the Sawmill is still there. It is probably my favorite pizza place in all of existence. I'm pretty sure it's not the biggest pizza ever in the world, but they make really gigantic pizza, and it's so good. Their fries are also amazing. Also watched the Super Bowl there a couple times, because they normally have like an all-you-can-eat kind of thing there. Let's see. Also, honestly, that feels like one of the most American things you could do. Like, go to something like that place while, like, watching the Super Bowl. Or even just a football game. Let's see, I'll take that over. Honestly, that's like probably one of the only things I like about sports. Like the amount of like food-related activities surrounding sports is so good. Like concession stands at a lot of sports, the kind of places that you would kind of go to like watch sports while eating. Like all those kind of things are like so good. But I just hate watching sports. Or at least the ones that are super popular in America. Because I'm not really like a huge fan of football or anything. Like the only 2 I would really watch are like tennis and soccer. Probably more so tennis. Like tennis is funner to watch, but not as fun to play. But soccer is funner to play, but not as fun to watch. Hey, we got an Anu. A lot of grunts in tennis. It's like a really quick, like, you know when you need to pay attention kind of sport, which is one of the things I like. Because in soccer, there's like a lot of downtime, and when it gets more exciting, it's kind of sporadic. However, with tennis, like, you know when you can watch, and you know when you can, like, eat and, like, you know, kind of just chill and chat. Because, you know, if they're, like, resetting after a rally, like, it's like, okay, yeah, I have some time to take a couple bites, chat, say a couple sentences, and then, but with something like soccer or other sports, like, that's not, like, as obvious. Well, I guess with football, you kind of have a similar thing after every single play. But I feel like in soccer, like, there's not an equivalence of that. Like it's like also it's always constant action, but also no action simultaneously. So it's harder to know when like the peak action is. Whereas in tennis, it is ridiculously obvious. Let's take that over. Though in all fairness, football is actually very similar in that regard. Where it's very obvious when the action is happening and when it isn't. Oh, come on, we're one red short. That's so unfortunate. Also, I keep forgetting to hit the guy that has immune to freeze. Or not, gosh, I'll say it right. I keep forgetting to hit the guy that freezes us when he takes skull. Because that's even worse than them having immune to freeze. Because it makes us lose turns rather than them maintain their turns. And us losing turn is worse than them maintaining, because normally we're just looping them anyway, so them maintaining means nothing. So them having immune to freeze is kind of irrelevant if they do or don't. But us getting frozen is so bad when it actually lands. I still remember Shadow Dragon be our first mythic, first legendary in this game. I actually got 2 of them as my first legends. Not only was it my first legend, but it was also my second legend in this game. And I really loved the design for it. It's so unfortunate because it's never been viable. When the game first launched, it was like somewhat okay. Like if you didn't have any other options, obviously at the point I didn't have any other options, so you could kind of build around it. However, it has never been good. Like the only time it was like peak good was when it, actually did it always have poison? I can't remember. I believe it did. But the fact that poison was really good when stats were single digit, because obviously when stats are that low, poison would be a lot more effective. But aside from that, like Shadow Dragon has never been good, and it's been buffed a couple times, but they're all like such small buffs that never really tweak much on it. Main thing it needs to tweak is a better final trait. Those ability could use some reworking too. Then the fact that poison in general is just such an underwhelming mechanic. Like aside from web spinner, triple damage, and a few other things, there are very few viable poison things. Obviously Scorpius, but the poison mechanic itself, like the actual poison, is just so bad. What is the Pure Faction team for City of Thieves for next week? Pure Faction is, you double up on the guy that gains stats based on gold. And then you go the Mana Drainer and the one that does skulls. You can also play it safer and don't go the one that goes skulls. But your main win condition is Mana Generate into the guy that gains stats based on your gold. You just keep spamming him. The reason you run 2 is in case one of them dies. Because you want to enter the final battle with minimum the guy that scales on gold and gains a bunch of stats, which is a legendary, followed by the Mana Generator. Like as long as you have that on your team, you're gonna be fine. Like those could be your only 2 troops and you're gonna win. But it's built pretty much entirely around the legend. How you do it just really depends. So you go like 2 legend and whatever else you want to do for the rest of your team, depending on how you want to tackle it. You technically only need 1, but the 2 is just to make sure 1 survives till the final fight. Because he does sometimes die to like skull spams in the middle or something else. Because you do have to take out a tier 5, and some of those tier 5s are scary. You do have a choice of 2 different tier 5s, but sometimes you do have to take the skull spam one. Which means you're probably going to lose one of them. Because it is required to pass a tier 5. That's the only bad thing about City of Thieves. Pure Faction does require you, 100% require you to pass a tier 5. Because the 2 options you have are 2 different tier 5s. Which of course you could take the weaker one, but you still have to take one. Unless you get really lucky, because I believe a Treasure Room tier 5 can appear there, which gives you Death Mark, or whatever the other one was. Wasn't there a second one? Pretty sure there was. But normally they're going to be like an annoying one. Would a new Mythic be viable? Which one? The one coming tomorrow? The one coming tomorrow is really bad. Or do you mean the one coming at the beginning of next month? The one at next month, I believe we looked at. I completely forget what it does, though. Which probably means it was something pretty irrelevant. Because I normally remember them if it was good. And if they were bad, I tend to not remember them at all. And I don't remember it at all. So my assumption is it is pretty bad. Hey, Anisha! Gosh, we're doing so good. Love our luck this week. Honestly, we've probably gotten like a medal and a half Anishas this week. Oh yeah, the Wild King. I remember him. Yeah, he has some viability. He actually is. The reason I forgot about him is if he gets released as is, wasn't he basically just going to be weaker Wild Queen? Because the biggest issue with him is he does not count as elemental. If they added that, I think he might be doable. But the biggest issue is, unless they're changing it before he gets released, he was actually only a Wild Folk and not a Wild Folk elemental, similar to that of Wild Queen. So I do feel like Wild Queen is going to be a better version of it. Like, it's still going to be usable, but compared to Wild Queen, you're almost never going to use it in comparison. Though there are some teams where you might use both of them together. But I remember him now. But yeah, he's going to be really hit or miss. We'll have to see. But I do feel like Wild Queen's is going to be like a definitively better version of Wild King. Like, he's not bad. Like, if you compare him to an average Mythic, what he does isn't horrible. But if you compare him to Wild Queen, it's like, why does this even exist? Like, he's not unique enough from Wild Queen to justify using him in most situations. Unless you really need to use him because of his color options. Yeah, he does apply to everything, and he does apply in Rage. Which are some benefits. We'll have to see what they rework it to, if they're going to rework it before it releases. Because if they're releasing it exactly as is, it's ultra situational when you bring it out. Like, you definitely wouldn't use it for, like, Guild Wars and stuff like that, because that's the other issue. Like, the type of troop that they are, like, you would want to use it for mostly Guild Wars, but he'd be bad for Guild Wars, whereas Wild Queen's, like, insanely good for it. Oh yeah, there's the factory trooper getting on Friday. Kind of already saw that earlier. Where's the king thing? There he is. Oh yeah, I forgot. He doesn't have troop art yet, does he? I was like, where is he? But he's not here. Oh, that's even more of a reason why we're definitely getting a Patches Tuesday. The Mythic that's coming out this Friday does not actually have troop art yet. It will, on Tuesday it will. But anyways, it enrage all allies and then gives them magic +1 attack. And then creates a mix of skulls and yellow. So, similar to Wild Queen, it creates skulls in another color. That color does indeed feed into itself, similar to Wild Queen as well. It's the same mix number. They both do 22. And they both give attack to first slot. However, this also gives attack to everything on your team, as well as enrage to everything on your team. The most noteworthy thing being the enrage difference. It also still has Bone Storm like Wild Queen does. And it also has a Wild Folk bonus like Wild Queen does, which is all Wild Folk gain 1 magic when my turn begins. So mostly he's just being used for Bone Storm in combination with his ability, which is basically what Wild Queen is. The only big issue with him is he does not take... well, the biggest downside of him compared to Wild Queen is his overall attack gain, I believe, is lower than what Wild Queen will do. And it also does not lower the enemy's attack. It only gives you a bunch of attack. The main upside of using him is that you do end up getting attack and enrage on everything. So if your first slot dies, well, your second slot is just as strong, and your third slot is just as strong, and your fourth slot is just as strong. But this is bad for battles where you don't want to be getting into a lost position, like Guild Wars, because it still has the same chance of missing as Wild Queen, while also not having the protective aspect of Wild Queen. Because one of Wild Queen's biggest downfalls is mixed gems. When it misses, you're just giving the enemy pure value. And one thing that Wild Queen does to negate the sum is if you know the board is bad and you still want to cast it, you can lower the attack of the first enemy in order to reduce their attack. You can also make a prediction, and that if you know the board is good but you think you might still miss, you reduce the attack of the second enemy because you'll kill the first enemy with skulls, you'll lose your turn, but the second enemy, the one that is now the first enemy, it now has like 0 attack, so they're not going to really hit you for anything. The problem with this guy is if he misses, like you're like dying. You're just dead, which can be very problematic in the main location where something like this would be used, which is Guild Wars. The main upside though is if your first slot does die, well, your second slot just as strong as your first, and your third slot just as strong as your first and second, and your fourth slot just as strong as all of them. So he does have that going for him, because you're not losing like your main win condition. However, it's also harder to keep anything alive, which is problematic for Guild War because you lose points every time you take damage and lose an ally. So he's going to be a lot worse at getting 9,600 because that's something that Wild Queen is really good at doing. Sometimes it loses, but when it gets 5 wins, it's normally hitting 9,600 pretty consistently. He's not going to do that. Like, he's probably going to get you wins. Maybe even more consistently than Wild Queen, but like he's going to be like a 9,200, 9,300. You're going to take a lot of backfire damage, and that backfire damage might still even kill you outright as well. So I don't know, it's just a lot higher risk related troop. I would even say higher risk, higher reward potentially, because you do have more overall damage compared to Wild Queen in theory potentially. Though I do believe it gives slightly less to your first slot. But with Enrage, you're definitely doing way overall more damage, because not only do you hit through traits, but you also do 1.5 times multiplier. So I don't know, we'll have to see. But it's very situational, bring him out. Like, most teams won't really change to him instead of Wild Queen. In theory, you could run both, though that might be a little bit too clunky. The main thing that would make it viable to run both, though you wouldn't be able to do it in Guild Wars, is using it with Mirage Queen. In Guild Wars, you can run them both on Green Day. So there is that. But with Mirage Queen, there's no day you can run them both on. Also, as of currently, he only counts as a Wild Folk, which is a little bit weird because Elemental or Wild Queen is both Wild Folk Elemental. He's only Wild Folk, so I'm not sure if they're going to change that when it gets released. Hopefully they will, because it seems like they should both be Wild Folk Elemental, but for whatever reason they haven't done that to him. But hopefully they'll fix that before it comes out next Friday. Or sorry, 2 Fridays from now. I keep forgetting. There's 31 days this month. Which even if there wasn't, it still wouldn't be this month. But, you know, 2 Fridays from now we'll be getting him. Which means if you bought normal pass, you're actually getting 2 mythics in the same week. You'll be getting the Golem we're going over tomorrow, next week's Monday. And then that following Friday would be mythic. Though technically this week I also got 2 mythics. Because we'll be getting the Golem on Monday. And of course we got the Hoard Mimic. Finally. After so long. The grind is finally over. But I'm going to go until we get 1 more chest. And that will be the definitive final chest for a while. Like, we're probably still going to get some here and there, obviously, over time. But this is like the last... Wow, look at these drops. Anisha and Anu. Whoa, that's a lot of upgrade. Give me that. There we go. That's a lot of upgrade on one screen. Oh, we even got the metal follow-up too, gosh. The double metal upgrade. That's a full Anisha and a full Anu there. Both at once. Yeah, Explorer 12's not over. Like, we're still going to be grinding into the future, just a little bit less so. Just kind of like the last big hurrah for it. But obviously we'll still be doing it for like a couple hours each week, probably here and there. But our focus will probably be going on to factions going into next week, particularly Tuesday forward once we actually get the patch. But we'll have to see exactly what they change. Who knows? Maybe it's so little that we still want to keep doing Explorer. But I'm pretty sure we will be shifting a little bit more into Underworld stuff, at least for next patch. Because so far, every single new patch that they've been doing recently, I actually kind of like, because it gives like a really specific focus. Like, a lot of patches last year actually kind of did that, as well as going forward. Like, Nomapalooza patch, like, that was like definitive, like, farm like crazy patch whenever Vault events come out. Like, it was already something that you would farm, but, you know, like, it made it like an actual, like, thing. So much so. But, like, that was huge. But every single patch we've been getting as of, like, the recent system they've been doing has been doing that. Like, 6.1 made it so Soulforge was really viable. 6.2 made this whole, like, explore thing, kind of event kind of thing. Well, not really event, but, you know, it gives you, like, a newfound focus of wanting to target a specific thing. And next patch will be doing the same thing, except they'll be addressed at factions specifically. Hopefully we'll finally get to Treasure Hunt one, because I would actually, I would not mind doing a 12-hour Treasure Hunt stream. If we, like, legitimately got a Treasure Hunt rework that made Treasure Hunt viable, like, all the jokes of doing a 12-hour Treasure Hunt stream will not be a joke. We're not going to do it, like, multiple of them, probably, but we will do one singular... oh, no, maybe we'll do multiple, we'll see. But we'll definitely do one singular... probably only one, realistically. singular 12-hour treasure hunt stream. Though they would have to buff it enough for it to be viable. That's not happening next patch, obviously. Who knows when they're going to do that. They were supposed to do it with the arena rework and then never did. Though the arena rework was really underwhelming when they did that. The arena rework needs another rework. How many Orpheus medals do I have? A lot. I think it's in the several hundreds. I want to say 300. Though we were using some the other night, which kind of lowered them a little. But I'm pretty sure we're at like 200 or 300. That's some kind of big number. It's definitely a triple-digit number, I know that. It's generally the metal you have the most of. At least if you're farming Explore 12. Well, even just in general, you kind of would. Yeah, 154. Actually, a little bit less than I thought I had. That was almost 200 or 300. Though we did use about a dozen last night. Or might be a little bit less, but yeah, 154. And we have enough niches to almost max 3 troops. We're currently at 14. We're at 14 niches. Which, how many do we need? Yeah, we do. Hold up. We actually have... Wow, we've gotten so many niche medals recently. I have enough niches to max 2 whole troops. I didn't even realize that. Because you use 3 Anus for the first one, then 2 niches, then 3 niches. Which means that'd be 5 niche, so 10 niche, and you need 3 spear. So we actually have 1 more than enough niches to max 2 whole troops. I might need to go max 1. We'll see, probably not though. But yeah, we can max 2 mythics currently. And still have some, and still have our niches that we need. And still have a whole spear that we don't need. Interesting. Yeah, we've been getting a lot. Like in the last month, I'm pretty sure we've gotten like a whole niche and a half. It's a celebration medal. I really wish they would add more medals. We really need a patch that expands the medal system in the game. Because that's something that seems like was going to be a thing, but then never happens. Like, we got Seasons, but Seasons is just a better version of Arania, so that technically wasn't a new one. All it did was make the old epic one useless. So, in theory, we've never actually gotten a new medal added to the game. Seasons technically is, but also technically isn't, because it's just a better version of the other epic one. For whatever reason, not sure why they didn't make it more distinct. Because they need to give Arania like 6 attack or something, so it at least has some use purpose. However, yeah, we've technically, not counting that, have never gotten a new medal. And we could really use like 2 or 3 different medals per rarity. It's something that they will hopefully do in a future pass. Or in a patch, I mean. Pass. No, hopefully they don't sell them. Well, obviously they're going to sell them to some degree. They make money somehow. But, you know, hopefully it'll still be fully grindable. Because that's the one nice thing about a lot of the patches recently. Is they actually are completely grindable. Like, you don't have to spend any money. Like the one where we had the Soulforge rework. You could simply just, you know, use gems you already had. Or simply farmed it manually. And not even spend any gems at all. For something like the previous one, it was literally just stuff with Explore. Like, it literally cost no resources whatsoever. You just grind Explore. The Vault Weekend one as well, when they added Nomapalooza. Well, of course, you could buy Nomapaloozas themselves. You could easily farm them without ever having bought in one, because we've never bought in any. And still have a billion of them. 1 HP. Let's see. What do we need here? Let's throw an explosion down, and then we'll probably just Zoog off him. Yeah, it's a lot of systems in this game. Like, it's under the premise that they will get expanded later, and eventually they do. But gosh, does it take forever for them to get around to it. There's just a lot of systems in the game that need tweaking. That come out in a certain state that need more for it. Pets are still like that. Oddly enough, even though it's gotten a lot, I still feel like Soulforge is still in a state where it needs reworking. Because there's so much more they could do with it. I think the biggest issue with Soulforge is obtaining of some of the material. Like mostly diamonds and stuff. And the fact that you can't just like disenchant high rarity stuff into material that can be crafted for Soulforge. Like, obviously, you can do it in Souls, but it's, like, nearly 0 in equivalence to its actual value. Like, you don't get, like, diamonds or shards or stuff like that. Like, things that would actually help you craft the more important stuff. There's also nothing for super endgame people to use diamonds on. Which, as you're progressing through the game, is the most useful currency in the entire game. Because you can literally get any mythic you want from it. Like literally almost any high rarity thing in the entire game can be obtained through diamonds. However, once you have everything in the game, they become a completely useless currency that has no purpose. Like, you can technically convert them into souls, but the value for that is absurdly bad. They're actually going to be reworking the current artwork of the game. They have mentioned that. I'm not sure how much of that change we're going to be getting into next patch. Probably just mostly related to the Underworld if they're going to do any visual changes. However, they are planning on this year finishing the visual changes to the game. That will hopefully be for the better, because they went for a really generic style that has been like the case for like the last 4 years now, however long it's been. Because it was 2017, so it's almost been 5 years now. It's been 4.5 years since they changed the art style of the game. However, they are making some tweaks to it, and while it's still keeping the current art style, it is an improvement above what it currently is. Like, the chest menu is one of those that you can kind of see the new change on, and I really like the change. But we'll have to see what they do. Assumably, they will probably have it fully done by November, because that's actually when the previous visual overhaul happened 5 years ago. Because it happened November of 2017. Or October, I think it was November though, 1 to 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the 5-year mark they've completely overhauled it to the new system that they've been slowly kind of transferring it to now. Where they've been doing like menu by menu. Hey, there we go. We got our final Horde Mimic. I think this will be the one. The one and final. To end all Horde Mimics. Or at least the legacy of us farming for him. We're obviously still going to be getting more into the future, obviously. But this ends the long, long grind that was the find Horde Mimic. Which technically ended last night, but... Okay, let's see what we got here. Come on, 5 times. End it with a 5 times. Nah, end it with double Nisha. Yeah! Hey, we still got it. Still got it. Actually, we've been really lucky on Nisha. We hit 5 times Nisha, 5 times Anu, and 2 times Nisha 3 times. This is the 3rd time, I am pretty sure. So we've actually been getting pretty good luck on some of those rarer ones in them. Anyways, let me go hand out a code. And that ends our finally have Mimic saga. Or Horde Mimic. Obviously we're still going to be doing Explore 12 in the future though. It's not the end of that. But it might be the end of us keeping the Mimic tracker down there. I don't know, will I just keep tracking them forever? I don't feel like it's worthwhile to. Though I kind of want to just because we can. That'll be a funny number to look at like a year from now, when it's like 200 something. But there you guys go, there's the final code. Enjoy. Oh yeah, let me go update the number. I don't know, even if I don't have it visible on screen, I might still just keep updating the number. Just to see where we are like a year from now, after like 1 year of Mimics. Like how many have we found total? Obviously most of them would have been found by now. Like the 83 that we have. Like even though that's in only 2 months, over the next 10 months, I'd be very surprised if that breaks over 200, which would be only 120 more. Mostly because we're not going to be farming it as much. Obviously, we're still going to be doing Explore, though, because we need tokens, like those good old Nishas. But there we go. Anyways, guys, I believe we were going to end it here. Actually, let me go clear these other dailies first. So if anyone still has any other questions down, it'd be a good time to ask. But yeah, I think we are going to end it here. Not as big of a stream as we initially would have had, but we got our objective. Like, the deed is done. We did what we needed. We found the Horde Mimic. Last night, of course, not tonight. But it has been done. And that means tomorrow, that means we start to get to move on to the next patch then. So I'm actually really glad we were able to get this done, because now it allows us to transition perfectly into next patch. Because tomorrow, we're going to be going over the new Mythic and the Chapter 9 tasks, as we would normally do. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. And then Tuesday, next patch. So we'll be in version 6.3. And then we have a bunch of Underworld stuff to start focusing on. And I will finally be doing the Underworld tier list. Though we'll have to see exactly what all the other changes are within the Underworld too. because that might change some things. But we're finally going to be covering anyone who's been wanting like every Underworld related tier list. Well, soon TM, because after we learn everything related to next patch, we can finally cover them. Because that's probably like the last big hurrah of things that will be changing with factions anytime even remotely soon. The only thing that tier list would technically not take account for, though, of course, is any new troops coming into every faction, because they're not going to exist yet. However, everything else will be completely covered. But obviously can't really account for troops that don't exist, because we are going to start getting 1 or 2 troops for every single faction now, at least 1. Like, I'll see Eyes getting 1 this Friday. I highly doubt it's going to make too huge a difference to most factions, but it could. Some of them might be high impact enough that they do make a substantial difference. Time will tell. And of course, always worth getting the 50 gem thing every single Sunday. You can technically do it every single day if you really want to, but it's really good value on Sunday. Is Phoenicia good? Yes. It's one of the more notorious AoE options in the game because it's high range. It has the highest single AoE damage in one single cast in the entire game, without having to worry about any kind of downside like Guard's Avatar. So it's a really, really good option. But yeah, Phoenicia is good. There's a few other troops that do something somewhat similar to her, but she has the highest damage range for one cast, which gives her a lot of viable situations, including taking out those dailies. Anyways, guys, we're going to end it here. Is it on the depression counter? I know, we probably will be getting rid of the mimic counter. I'm probably still going to keep tracking them, but it visually being there is probably over. We'll need to figure out something else to put down there. I'm not sure what. But it always looks like so much empty space, and I want to put something there. I just never know what to put there. Like, when we have a timer, that works pretty nice in the corner. But then there's still, like, another half of empty space that has, like, nothing to do. And I never know what to put there specifically. We'll figure something out. But anyways, so yeah, that ends our Mimic Hunting Saga. Tomorrow night, we'll be doing the Mythic, the one with bombs that comes from the pass. Because we'll be having that tomorrow. So we'll be going over the new Mythic as well as all the Chapter 9 tasks, and we'll go over the Mythic after we finish all the Chapter 9 tasks tomorrow night. And then Tuesday we have new patch, and, you know, next week we'll be probably messing with the new patch every single day. Because if nothing else, we should be able to do the 3 daily factions. And also we have a faction weekend next weekend, which normally isn't too big a deal. However, it's the first one underneath this new format. So we'll have to see exactly how that ends up panning out, given that... yeah, we don't necessarily know exactly everything that will be changing with it, so it'll be interesting to see. Hello, Mr. Extreme! Anyways, guys, I do believe we are going to be calling it here. Thank you, everyone, for all the continued support, as always. Greatly appreciated. We will be back tomorrow night, same time as always, hour and a half prior to now tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, yeah, we'll go and do everything that we mentioned. Pretty busy week for Gems of War next week, as pretty much every day we have something pretty big going on, particularly Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, as those are when all the main things are happening. But even all the other days, we'll be able to mess with whatever changes are in 6.3 as well, assuming there's enough to actually end up going through everything. Anyways, guys, we'll catch you later, and thank you so much for stopping by. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.